All right, Giants Nation. So I noticed a lot of content creators have been posting their mock drafts, and to be honest, I don't really feel like posting the mock draft. I don't want to go through all 7 rounds. I think for a lot of the fans, who we pick in the first round is going to be the draft for them, because some fans are really thinking that we need to get a quarterback regardless of who the quarterback is. They don't care if it's JJ McCarthy, which I care. I don't really like JJ McCarthy. I have no interest in JJ McCarthy at pick 6. Now, if we were to trade back and get JJ McCarthy, I would like that. Like, I don't think JJ McCarthy's a bad quarterback. I just don't really want to pick him at 6. Now, if Drake May were to fall, I would love Drake May at pick 6. I mean, if we were to give the guys that we could potentially draft at pick 6, if we were to give them a letter grade, I would say any of the top 3 would be A pluses. Rome and Neighbors are also A pluses. But if we were to draft JJ McCarthy, I'm giving it a C. Call me a hater, but I'm giving it a C. I understand that, most people think that JJ McCarthy is still a pretty good quarterback, even though at Michigan he wasn't asked to throw the ball a lot. He was handing the ball off a lot. And I'm like, well, we don't have Barkley anymore. So, but here's the thing though. I think most people who are, like the professionals that are grading JJ, they're not expecting JJ to start week 1. I think Giants fans think that if we draft a rookie quarterback, they're going to start week 1. You have a lot of people who think they're so smart. They say, oh, Daniel Jones has the injury clause. There's no reason to play him all season. So we're just not going to play Daniel Jones, and we just signed Drew Lock for no reason. So we're not going to play Drew Lock at all. We're going to go straight to the rookie. Like, that's how a lot of Giants fans are operating. And I think it's a big L if you take JJ McCarthy at 6, because ideally you would want one of the top 3 quarterbacks to fall to 6. And if that doesn't happen, then the next best players would be Malik. But let's just say San Diego doesn't trade back, which they might if the Vikings are looking to take JJ, which I think they should. I think the Vikings or Denver should trade with San Diego and jump in front of us and take JJ. I don't know what's wrong with you Giants fans that are, if you're a Michigan fan, I'm going to give you a pass, but I've met Michigan fans that don't want him at 6, and I respect those fans more, because that tells me that they're seeing something and they're maybe thinking about the team and not being a stan. Like, a lot of y'all are probably JJ stans, so you're like, I would love to have my college quarterback as my NFL team's quarterback. But yeah, once I've started meeting Michigan fans that didn't want JJ at 6, I knew something was up. So I'll say this: if the Vikings or Denver trade up in front of us, I would love it, and I would hope they go ahead and just grab JJ so we can just grab Malik, because again, any of the top 3 quarterbacks would be an A plus. Rome and Malik are A pluses. JJ, I'm giving it a hard C. That would piss me off. I wouldn't even care for the rest of the draft. I don't care if we get Xavier Legette in the 2nd round. Like, I have no interest in JJ McCarthy. I'm not saying that he's going to be a bust if we draft him per se, because we don't know how it's going to play out. If we draft him, maybe he sits for a year. I don't know why you would think that JJ would just come in and play week 1, but there's a possibility he can sit. But then you got to think about, drafting a quarterback round 1. You're paying a quarterback more in round 1. And so the cap hit, once you give him the contract, because I looked at Anthony Richardson contract for, being the 4th pick, and the cap hit is like obviously higher. The dead cap hit is higher. So if it didn't work out with whoever we drafted in the 1st round, you'd have to trade him. But realistically, I'm so not happy with taking JJ. I'd rather just take a receiver. And I know a lot of you guys are saying, well, who's going to throw to the wide receiver? It can't be Daniel Jones because he wasn't good last year behind an abysmal offensive line. I mean, that's the way I see it. I mean, if he can throw 3,200 yards with Richie James as his number 1 wide receiver, as long as he can stand and stay healthy, you never know. And then you never know what Drew Lock can give you. So I would take the wide receiver 1 and just draft a quarterback in the 2nd round, which, again, the cap hit's going to be a lot less. And, 2nd round picks, they get 4 years and then they're an unrestricted free agent. And so in theory, you could draft somebody in a later round, and if you don't like that quarterback, you can take another quarterback next year, which sounds crazy, but y'all got to understand that I get that you guys are so upset about the Daniel Jones situation and the contract, but nobody likes to talk about it. But Jimmy Garoppolo finessed 2 teams. He finessed the 49ers and he finessed the Raiders. And a lot of people say, well, Jimmy Garoppolo, won playoff games for the 49ers. He was ass. He was not a good quarterback. They have a good team. The Giants don't have a good team. You could say Daniel Jones is not good, but the Giants are also not good. So it's not just Daniel Jones. It's also the Giants. So again, you can get from under the Daniel Jones contract in March. And so if you have to take a quarterback this year, you could take him in a later round, and you can take another quarterback next year. If the team does suck, you can take a quarterback first round. You see somebody you like there next year, you take that quarterback first round, and then his contract starts to tick, and maybe he beats out the guy that we draft from this year. So that's the way I see it with JJ McCarthy. I'm giving him a hard C. Malik, Rome, they're getting A+. Any of the top three, they're A+. There's no chance that Caleb's gonna fall. I know it'd be a nightmare scenario for us to draft an offensive lineman, but even Joe Alt, I'll give a better grade than JJ McCarthy. Like, I wouldn't like the pick, but Joe Alt, I'll give an A. And if we drafted somebody like a Jared Verse or some defensive player, that's also going to be a C. So those are the players that, have been linked to us. It's been either, Daniels falls or May falls or JJ McCarthy. We, for some reason, draft him. I don't know why we would do that. But again, I'm hoping Denver or Minnesota jump in front of us and take him, because I don't think he's a great fit for the Giants. I think he's going to be better elsewhere. So I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I just think that he'll be better elsewhere. Like, people just think that because Daniel Jones is a quote unquote bad quarterback, that if you just take any quarterback, they're going to be good under the Giants. But there is a chance that if you take a quarterback, if you reach for a quarterback, you could just find yourself in the Daniel Jones situation again, where you feel like you don't like him and you feel like you reach for him. And that's how I feel about JJ McCarthy, man. So if you guys agree with me, let me know. Maybe some of you guys like JJ McCarthy, but I've met Michigan fans that didn't like him, and that's all I needed to hear. You're a Michigan fan. You watch him. You don't want to take him at pick 6. That tells me a lot. So this draft's supposed to be deep with quarterbacks, guys. I mean, you've got, Bo Nix. I don't know where he's going to go. You got Michael Penix Jr. My only problem with Michael is you take Michael, obviously you can't take him in the first round, but if you take Michael, his blind side is going to be Evan Neal. So y'all got to think about that. So you got him, you got Spencer, you got Joe Milton, Jordan Travis. So you got options. Like, we don't have to take a quarterback in the first round. So don't freaking take JJ. Now, for the fans who are somewhat retarded and, you have an obsession with replacing Daniel Jones, you might be saying, you're just hating on JJ McCarthy. You just want to see the Daniel Jones be the starter again next year. And that's really not up to me, and I really don't care. If it was up to me, I would take Drake May. Problem is I don't see the Giants trading up, because they shouldn't need to trade up. They should have just got rid of Xavier and Barkley and lose out like a smart team would do. So since we're not trading up, and I don't know if Drake May is going to fall, let's just look at, there's an article about JJ McCarthy and us being rumored to draft him. And in the article, it basically says that they don't think that JJ McCarthy should start. They think he should sit and learn behind Daniel Jones. And I've heard people say, oh, what is he going to learn from Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. He's not going to learn anything from Daniel Jones. Well, it's really going to be up to Daboll to make sure that he learns what he needs to learn. And he's going to ask Daniel Jones questions, because Daniel Jones is a professional. He might not be a great professional or a good professional, but at the end of the day, he's still a professional quarterback. So there are going to be things that he'll learn from Daniel Jones. And sometimes he'll be on the sideline and he'll see Daniel Jones do something wrong, and he'll go to the coach and say, hey, what was he supposed to do there? Or he'll know automatically. He'll be like, hey, I can't believe Daniel Jones just did that. And so he'll know, through watching Daniel Jones, like, hey, I shouldn't be doing this. So you're probably thinking, oh, he's probably been watching. No, he's not watching Daniel. He's not a Giants fan. So he has no idea what Daniel Jones looks like in detail. What is he? He's not going to go on YouTube and watch the lowlights like some of you loser fans. Like, he doesn't care about that. So he's going to walk in and he's going to listen to Daboll. He's going to talk to Drew Lock and Daniel Jones. So don't feel like because he's supposed to be better than the two quarterbacks that are going to start ahead of him that he can't learn from Drew Lock and Daniel Jones. He'll learn things from them, good things, and he'll learn things that he shouldn't do based on the mistakes that they make. And so, yeah, if you're thinking we're going to draft JJ McCarthy and start him week 1, you are an idiot. Okay, maybe idiot was a little bit harsh. Maybe it was naive. You're naive. They're more than likely going to start the guy that they're paying $47 million if he's healthy, or they're going to start Drew Lock. They're not going to start JJ McCarthy. They're not going to throw him out there. You want him to be good. So you're going to take your time. We're not going to miss out on the Super Bowl if we don't start JJ McCarthy week 1. So relax, guys. But hopefully we're not in a situation where we do draft him. I'm really hoping he goes to Minnesota. Like I said, it's an A+ for the top quarterbacks and the top wide receivers, and it's a C for JJ McCarthy. It doesn't mean that he's going to be a bust and it's not going to work. I'm just not going to like it. And a lot of us aren't going to like it. It's not just me. But some of you guys are the get a quarterback. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Get a quarterback in round 1, because it's not like round 1 quarterbacks have never not worked out, right? You know, it's a guaranteed thing if you get a quarterback in round 1. And the division's dominated by round 1 QBs, right? Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts were drafted in round 1, right? No. The Giants' formula is they need to get back to having a really good defense, and they need to figure out the offensive line. It shouldn't take 10+ years. And we need to add some playmakers to the team. And then we need to replace the quarterback. So it doesn't matter if we draft him now. He doesn't need to start right away. Use your head, guys.